Hi guys, welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to show you how you can turn your mindset from negative to positive. And I say this because I used to be a very negative person in the past. I constantly had those negative beliefs about myself that then shaped my brain, shaped my identity, and when the brain was wired for negativity, I constantly attract that negative spot for myself. And ever since I start to reaffirm positive things to myself and switch the mindset from negative to positive, I start to see that also positive things come to me. And it's something that you can all do, okay? You can always choose to change your mindset despite your environment, despite the people you surround yourself with. Obviously, those things have an impact on your mental health and yourself. But remember that if you have control over the mindset, if you adapt to positive beliefs about yourself, nobody can stop you. Alright, before jumping to the point of the video, I want to sponsor my ebook. For those who haven't watched my videos, I am an author of a book named Inner Treasure. Inner Treasure is a complex of poetry that speak under different themes. For example, psychological, philosophical, poetical. I basically represented my emotions based on the day. Indeed, it's similar to the structure of a diary where there's the date and the signature of the author at the end of the poem. It's 20 poems of 20 lines, nearly that amount. And I spoke about the emotion based on visualization because I visualize things, and also to make people feel closer to their emotions, to make them feel less alone, since I actually experienced bad emotions under that time. All right, first thing we all say is, I can't do that. That thing seems too hard for me to achieve. We all say those things, but in reality it's wrong, because by saying this, you are mastering the belief that you can do that thing, that you can't achieve your goal, that it's far away from you, and that you are not capable to that. One thing I learned is neuroplasticity. Basically, what you believe, what you think, what you really acquire for yourself starts to become your reality. The more you rely on these negative beliefs, the more it will represent in your reality. You can't expect a shift if you always think negatively about that. So yeah, you can do that. You are learning, you are growing. Nobody is born as a teacher. We all evolve through experience. We all learn through failure sometimes, okay? Another thing we all tend to say is, I hate my life. Everything is going wrong right now. Well, sometimes life, as I said before, is not really suitable for your needs, is not really suitable for your desires. Why? Because in order to reach those desires, you need to grow and you need to evolve and you need to learn the lessons, all right? So each time you feel like your life is dull, don't feel down. Tell yourself, I am going to get through that, okay? My life is not bad, okay? A bad day isn't a bad life. It's just a day where I can learn the lessons in order to evolve, okay? Each time you learn something new, it's something closer to your goal. You can't expect to just achieve that without learning something before. It always works this way, the universe works to make us learn the lessons they want to give us. Also, another thing, I used to think in the past, everyone hates me. It does not matter whoever I meet, everybody hates me, okay? That was an insecurity of mine. Indeed, the mindset shift should be, I need to work better on my insecurities, because most of the times the way we perceive how other people think about us, okay, it's the way we feel about ourselves, okay? If we hate ourselves, we start to believe that other people hate ourselves too. Why? Because, for example, you hate your appearance. You look at people badly because you think that those people will judge your appearance based on how you look, because you can't accept that. It's all it's the fault is basically yourself in this case, all right? Because you are fixating and constantly thinking on your appearance, on how you look, and the perspective of that is wrong, okay? I'm not saying that fixating on that is bad, but the perspective of how you feel about that is wrong, okay? And people most likely will think about it too, because you're attracting like a magnet that kind of energy, that kind of thought that you're having. Another thing, you think that people that are confident actually care the opinions of another person. They don't, because they understand that somebody who judges you is someone who's insecure. And this connects to the thing I said before. Someone who's insecure starts to think that everybody will hate on them for their appearance, and this causes them hatred and anger, and indirectly they start to judge and they start to harm other people because of their own insecurities. So that's why confident people don't care about people's opinion, because they understand that it stems from insecurities. Okay, a confident person is someone who does not care what people think, is someone who only backs themselves up and constantly looks far away. Okay, they look in order to reach their achievement. So every time you see someone judging you, tell yourself, it's not my problem to carry. It's out of my control. It's not any of my responsibility to fix or care about someone's beliefs. Okay? Whatever they think, let them think that. I constantly feel sad. My life is going downhill. Well, this relates to something I said before previously. You are sad, and this is fine because you are healing. The soul is healing from all of the trauma, from all of the abuse, from everything that was repressed in the past when you were a kid, and now you're just letting that out. Your body can't take it anymore, and it's letting that out, and you're healing. You are learning the lessons finally. You'll see, trust me, right now it might feel all dark, it might feel like I'm just a liar. You might say, well, he's a liar, he's just saying that because he's never experienced that. I used to be very negative. I had huge trauma ever since I was a kid, but ever since I started to adapt a healthier approach to myself, I started to see how my life actually started to change. It's changed literally so magically. Ever since I started talking to God about how I feel, ever since I started to put in the work and the effort to improve and to better myself, I started to see a shift in myself. If you constantly are repetitive and you say those positive affirmations to yourself, if you believe in those ones, that will shift how your mental health feels. Okay, your mental health will go from drained to recharged. It's like you have to recharge. So this is why you're feeling sad, because you're letting out all of the bad repressed emotions that make a person that is not you. Another thing I was scared of was failure. I constantly told myself, what if I fail? Until one day I started to realize, but Phil, if you are scared of failure, you're also scared of success. Why? Because someone, in my opinion, someone who complains a lot, someone who's always negative and refuses to lift themselves up, even if you tell the person to lift themselves up, even if you give them advice, I personally believe that it's a choice of the person. If the person wants to stay negative, you can't do anything about that. You just need to leave them like that. And I think that as someone who was a failure in the past, like, it's bad to say it that way, but I was constantly negative and I refused to give up, right? If someone only knew failure, how can they know success? So they're also scared of success, right? But ever since I start to adopt this mindset that everything will work out for me, ever since I start to adopt the mindset of positivity, I also need to embrace how I will success, how I can carry on with my life with success. This is how you will grow. You grow with struggle sometimes. Struggle is what makes you grow, because if you always stay in your comfortable zone like that, that won't make you grow. It will make you stay stagnant on that level. In order to reach this level, you need to struggle in order to learn the lesson to get that. Don't complain if you don't receive what you wanted, what you literally wanted. Be grateful that you even got smaller things, but you still at least got something. You know that there's people who are dying out of hunger, there's people who don't have drinks. You really think that their dream is becoming a millionaire? No, their dreams is just surviving, because they don't even have the resources in order to survive. And you're here complaining with your rich family that you want to be a millionaire, that you want to be a billionaire, all of those things. You only care about money, but you think that money satisfies you. No, it won't satisfy you, honey. Money only gives you well-being. Money won't give you happiness. Be grateful for the small things that you got. Be grateful that you have a roof over your head. Be grateful that you have drinks and food and clothes in order to survive everything. Another thing I learned is sometimes you don't get the boost, the dopamine when you are only motivated, okay? Motivation, okay, here's the truth. Most motivation will almost never come, okay? Take in mind that 95% of the time it's discipline that carries on, it's not motivation. All of the times I have to work out, for example, I don't like working out, okay? I was just motivated the first time I worked out, but I don't like working out. But still, almost every day, okay, except Sunday, I work out. Why? Because I'm disciplined, because I discipline the belief that I'm going to do this workout. Sometimes I don't want to study, okay? But then I tell myself I need to study, because if I don't study now, everything will just accumulate together and it will be a mess later on. So I at least master myself to study for 1 hour or 2 hours a day so that I can finally get there. Motivation isn't the lifesaver. The lifesaver is discipline, okay? I know it hurts to swallow about this one, but sometimes we say, those people constantly leave me, everyone leaves me, right? Well, maybe those people were not meant for you. Did you ever think that you were constantly surrounding yourself, you were people pleasing constantly just because you had a fear of being alone? The whole monster, honey, was just you, because you were not used to your own company. And what is the universe showing you? The universe is showing you that you can finally be yourself and you can be on your own. You can discover who you really are without those people. Some people are just distractions in our life, okay? Because they just come, but they project their negativity onto you. And when you are a person who's positive, that does not align. It can't be a thing to, assemble together. It can't work out. So some people are not meant for you. You need to understand this. Some people live your life and it's okay this way. We often say, I am depressed. But what's depression? I personally believe that depression is a state of the soul, a state of the mind where you feel stagnant, which means that you're not fulfilling your soul. What do I mean by fulfilling the soul? I mean that each one of us has a sort of personality traits, right? If we don't follow those personality traits and we pretend to be another person, or we don't actually fulfill what those personality traits crave in us, if we simply aren't ourselves, we'll feel depressed, because feeling depression is a sign that we are not being ourselves. It's a sign that something is lacking, that your battery, your energy is drained. If, for example, you have a passion for drawing, I like drawing, okay? Maybe your soul is meant to draw, okay? You're feeling depressed because you're telling yourself, oh, but I don't have the motivation to do that. Grab that piece of paper and draw if drawing is your passion. Sing if the passion is singing. Dance if the passion is dancing. Learn if your passion is learning. You need to do whatever the soul craves. This is the reason why most people feel depressed. So yeah, guys. I hope that I was useful for you to shift your mindset. I really believe and I really hope that you guys can adapt and shift the mindset from the negative aspect to the positive ones. Remember that life is not perfect, okay? Each person that wants to show the perfect side, it's not always like that, okay? People always go through struggles, me included. I go through a lot of struggles, but I always come out stronger because I learned the lessons with that struggle. So yeah, I hope that I was useful for you, and yeah, let me know in the comments if this could contribute to your happiness and your overall mental health. Bye guys.